You didn't notice it then, but they showed it in every small way. The way they remembered your favorite song, the way they stayed up just to make sure you got home safe, or how their eyes softened every time you spoke. It wasn't loud, it wasn't obvious, but it was real. Sometimes love doesn't arrive with words. It hides in gestures, in silence, in the spaces between moments. And maybe someone once loved you quietly like that. You just didn't see it. Psychologists say we often recognize love only in hindsight, when time has passed and the noise fades, leaving behind the truth we missed. So tonight, let's look back. Because if someone did these things, they weren't just being kind. They were in love with you all along. Sign 1. They always noticed your mood changes. Have you ever met someone who just knew? You didn't have to say you were sad or tired or lost, yet somehow they saw it. The shift in your tone, the pause in your laughter, the way your eyes didn't shine the same. They noticed, and quietly they responded. Not with questions, but with care. Maybe they brought you your favorite drink, cracked a small joke just to make you smile, or simply sat beside you in silence. They didn't need an explanation, because their heart had already tuned itself to yours. Psychologists call this emotional attunement, when someone becomes so connected to you that they can sense your inner world without words. It's rare, and it doesn't happen by accident. It comes from genuine affection, the kind that pays attention, even when you think no one's watching. Most people hear your words, few listen to your silence, and those who do usually care more than they're willing to admit. Maybe now, looking back, you remember someone like that. Someone who always seemed to feel what you felt, even when you tried to hide it. You might have thought they were just being kind, but the truth is, kindness doesn't notice the subtle things. Love does, because when someone truly cares about you, they don't wait for you to speak your pain. They sense it, they carry it, and in their quiet way, they try to heal it. Sign 2. They remember the smallest details. It's the little things that give them away. Not the grand gestures or the long conversations, but the tiny, almost forgettable moments that somehow stayed in their mind. They remembered you like your coffee without sugar. They remembered that story you told once about your childhood dog. They remembered the exact song you said helps you think, or that one movie you never finished because it made you cry. And when they bring these things up, it feels strange at first. How do you remember that, you might ask? But it's not memory, it's attention. Selective attention, as psychologists call it. When someone truly cares, their brain naturally filters the world through you. Every detail about you becomes a quiet priority. The way your voice lifts when you're excited, or how you pause before answering a deep question. Love does that. It sharpens awareness. It makes even the smallest things feel meaningful, because to them, those little details are pieces of you. And every piece feels worth keeping. Think about it. Most people forget what you say the moment the conversation ends. But someone who's been secretly in love with you, they hold on to your words like bookmarks, reminders of who you are and how you made them feel. And maybe now that you're looking back, you realize they never missed your birthday, your favorite song, or your offhand jokes. They remembered because their heart listened more closely than their ears ever could. Because when it's real, memory isn't about the mind. It's about what the heart refuses to forget. Sign 3, they made sacrifices you never noticed. Sometimes love doesn't announce itself with words. It hides in quiet sacrifices. The kind you never saw because they never wanted you to. Maybe they waited for you after class, pretending they just happened to be walking the same way. Maybe they changed their plans so they could show up when you needed help. Maybe they gave up something small, time, sleep, comfort, just to make sure you were okay. And they never told you, because it wasn't about earning your gratitude. It was about protecting your peace. Psychologists call this altruistic love, the purest kind of affection. It's love that gives without keeping score. Love that says, I'd rather be slightly uncomfortable if it means you can breathe easier. You might look back now and realize those moments weren't random. They didn't just happen to be there when you needed someone. They made a choice, again and again, to show up for you quietly even when you didn't notice. And maybe you'll never know the full extent of what they did, because people like that don't want you to feel indebted. They just want to see you okay, smiling, at peace, moving forward. That's the quiet beauty of hidden love. It doesn't demand recognition. It doesn't need validation. It simply shows up, sacrifices in silence, and fades into the background, content with the simple truth that you were safe and they helped, even if you never knew. Because for them, love was never about being seen. It was about making sure you were. Sign 4. Their eyes always softened around you. There's something about the eyes. They betray the heart long before words ever do. You've probably felt it before. That moment when you're talking and someone's gaze lingers just a little too long. Not in a way that feels invasive, but gentle. Almost like they're memorizing you. Not your words, but you. When someone secretly loves you, their eyes change when you're near. Psychologists call it a micro-expression, a fleeting softness that happens when the brain releases oxytocin, the bonding chemical. It relaxes the muscles around the eyes, makes the pupils slightly dilate, and turns a normal look into something deeper, something almost unguarded. You'll notice it in small moments. When you laugh, their eyes light up before their lips do. When you're tired, they look at you with a quiet kind of concern. And when you talk, even about the most ordinary things, their gaze holds a stillness, like the world just slowed down for a second. They might try to hide it, breaking eye contact too quickly or pretending to be distracted. But that softness always returns, in glances they don't mean to give, in smiles that come too easily when you're around. Because the eyes can't lie. They mirror the emotions the mouth is too afraid to speak. And in those unspoken moments, love reveals itself. Wordless, honest, and impossible to fake. So if you ever catch that look, the one that feels calm, kind, and just a little bit vulnerable, know this: you didn't imagine it. That was love, quietly looking back at you. Sign 5. They pulled away, not because they stopped caring. It's one of the most confusing things, when someone who once felt so close suddenly begins to pull away. Their messages slow down, their tone softens, and the warmth that used to be constant now flickers like a light trying not to go out. You start to wonder, did I do something wrong? But here's the truth. Sometimes distance doesn't come from losing love. It comes from loving too deeply. Psychologists call this emotional defense. When someone's feelings grow stronger than they expected, their mind activates a quiet form of self-protection. It's like their heart says stay, but their fear whispers run. They start overthinking every word, every silence, every possibility of getting hurt, and instead of risking rejection, they retreat into safety. You might notice it in small, almost invisible ways. They stop calling as often, not because they've forgotten you, but because they miss you too much when they do. They act colder in conversation, not out of indifference, but because warmth feels dangerous. It exposes what they are trying to hide. People often assume distance means disinterest, but sometimes it's the opposite. It's love struggling under the weight of its own fear. A quiet storm inside someone who feels too much, but doesn't know how to handle it. So before you decide they stop caring, pause. Think about the times they pulled away right when things felt the closest. That wasn't detachment, it was defense. Because sometimes the ones who love the hardest are also the ones most afraid of being broken. You didn't see it then, but maybe now you finally do. All those little moments, the quiet check-ins, the gentle smiles, the unspoken care, they weren't random. They were love, hidden in plain sight. A love that didn't need grand gestures to be real. Maybe they were never yours to keep, but they'll always be part of your story. The kind of person who taught you that love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the silence that meant the most. The way they remembered, the way they waited, the way they saw you when no one else did. And now looking back, you realize it wasn't about what was said. It was about what was felt. The laughter that lingered, the comfort that stayed, the way their presence felt like home even when nothing was defined. So don't regret what never happened. Be grateful it did. In the quiet, in the almost, in the small moments that shaped you. Because real love doesn't always end with a confession. Sometimes it ends with understanding, and maybe that's enough.